Welcome, one and all, to another edition of Violent Wrestling Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ambrose Sally, with my cohort in crime,
Mox. Dun dun
and
dun.
and we have a very, very special guest tonight coming along with us, One Winged Angel.
Well, good evening, everyone.
The
Special,
crowd goes wild.
and the crowd goes crazy. Or mild, I don't know. But I'm happy. I'm happy to join. The cohorts for my very first time. You
Yes.
know, I love a little violence. So let's get right to it.
Let's
Violence
get
does the
right
body
down to
good.
barely legal night. To barely legal.
To make sure, barely legal ECW 1997 pay per view, not anything that's yeah. We're
Yeah,
talking about wrestling here.
talking about ECW 1997.
So, so this is the very first ECW pay per view, which um Mox, AA, do you guys remember watching live? I remember watching it live. Do you?
I
I didn't.
caught it. I didn't catch it live.
This
I caught
was
it later.
okay. This was, for me, 1997. So I was 12 years old. It was a big deal. Big deal for me. I mean, my parents thought, I was just watching another WWF pay per view at the time. But
Oh boy, were they wrong.
yeah, well, there was at the time, what's it called? They had the preview channel, which would scroll all the channels and what was on, and then they would have the previews of what was on pay per view in the big screen on the right. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, that's how I found out about ECW.
A
that's
little backstory.
that's
This happened
yeah.
April 13th, 1997,
Yes.
at the ECW Arena, the famous
Mm-hmm.
ECW Arena, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There were 1,170 people in attendance.
In
So,
ECW Arena, you had 1,170 people, and it felt like probably 7,700 people.
yeah,
So,
they always made it feel huge. It kind of reminds me on a smaller scale of current day, or actually
mm-hmm,
not current day, but like a couple years ago, 3 years ago, NXT. Such a small crowd, but they feel so huge.
mm-hmm. So the introduction had the Eliminators coming out. Now, a lot of people would look at John Cronus and Perry Saturn and be like, "Who the f are these two guys?" Well, maybe a lot of people probably know Perry Saturn, but you guys know the Eliminators.
Yes, I mean that.
Yeah, against the Dudley Boys. That was the first match for the ECW World Tag Team title, and a lot of people don't think of Perry Saturn as a superstar, but in ECW, I would say he was. With this tag team, they were you know one of the top draws in the whole thing. The Eliminators. What do you think, Mox?
Um, now, John Cronus was kind of Perry Saturn was the star of the tag
Yeah,
team.
definitely. Well, I mean, he had the talent, but
Yeah,
they were they were a superstar tag team for sure.
Cronus just
Going.
didn't move
Mm-hmm.
the needle for me. The Dudley Boys, isn't this when they had Sign Guy Dudley with them?
Yep. And
Okay.
Studley Dudley did the introductions. Who I prefer as Moxie Dudley because he likes to introduce himself as such.
And that's not where I get my name from. Did you like Perry Saturn or John Cronus? AA?
I
back in
like
the day.
Saturn.
I like the rings of Saturn. I like that
Yeah.
finisher, that theme.
Saturn, he was more of a submission style wrestler. John Cronus is more of a brutal
Beat your ass.
beat your ass style. And then everyone knows the Dudley Boys. This was that was their gimmick then.
Yeah, that was during that phase.
Uh-huh.
Oh Lord. Wasn't this when Bubba later, BUBBA, isn't this when he went by BUH space BUH
Yes.
Buh. Yeah, okay.
Buh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Man, how far they came.
Mm-hmm. And this is so in the first match in ECW pay-per-view history, the Eliminators won with probably one of the most famous moves, which a lot of people probably don't even understand the move, but they've heard the call. You know what I'm talking about, Mox?
I can't remember. I remember the, oh my God.
No.
No?
The call. The total elimination!
Oh.
So, yep. I made the dog bark. But yes, the Eliminators won the World Tag Titles with one of the best tag team moves in wrestling history.
Well, tell us about it. You can't just cliffhang this.
The total elimination, the underhook Russian leg sweep with the spinning heel kick.
It hurts actually
It,
to say that and it be named total elimination. That's why I forced you to do it.
Yeah,
because that was such a.
You can't. Well, it doesn't sound as deadly as it is. Underhooks, Russian heel kick, and spinning heel kick.
That they made it look good, when they would do it, but it's just like with Authors of Pain with the bookend.
Oh,
you're just holding a guy to get clotheslined. It's supposed, and the commentary shows that it's this brutal, like just total annihilation.
oh my God.
Did you like either one of the Dudleys, AA?
I've never been fond of the Dudleys, except for Devon.
Well, there's one.
I like Devon. I liked him. Later, they kind of got not stale, but kind of in a way pigeonholed with the, Devon, get the tables. Like that was great tag team. Hall of Fame worthy and all that, but they just weren't. They're a tag team that shouldn't have got over through all these years that got that over, if that makes sense at all. Like they're not the most intimidating. They're not the most athletic duo. They're just crazy sons of bitches.
All right. Next match. We had RVD, his pay-per-view debut, against another pay-per-view debut, Lance Storm. Lance Storm had his unbelievable, rat tail, blonde rat
Oh.
tail. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but Lance Storm had the blonde rat tail during this match.
I remember because it took me back to my childhood when I had a rat tail. I had
Who
a
didn't?
long ass.
I had a big one, all the way down, basically to my butt.
And
It
I think you and I have
wasn't
talked about.
blonde, but
Yeah,
mine
mine
wasn't
wasn't
blonde.
blonde. Yeah, mine was just my natural. I didn't
Mhm.
go that far with it. I still have my rat tail in a Ziploc bag when I finally cut it off.
Oh wow! I
Yep,
don't
yep.
have my. I don't know what happened to mine. Thank God. I don't want to know what happened to it.
I've been tempted to take it out of the bag and like tape it so all the hair I'm losing on the top of my head. They'll never notice.
So during this match was one of the worst, maybe the worst ever chair shots ever, where Lance Storm tried to hit RVD with a chair, and he hesitated and then hit him. But
Oh, that was this match.
that was this match.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I thought someone would get it.
Oh, this match. I wasn't sure if that was on non-pay-per-view or yet.
No, it was this match, and he went. Well, it looked like he was going full force, then he stopped.
Oh, that was. Oh, and folks, if you haven't seen it or if you want to see it,
No,
just
you have to see it. I mean,
Google.
if you like hardcore wrestling, this is the chair shot to see. Because it was the unchair shot of chair shots.
Google this match and watch that spot.
The dog is all for it.
I heard it.
Is that my dog? I mean, I hear my dog, but I didn't know if my dog was coming through the.
Guess it wasn't my dog.
I don't have a dog, so.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just it was adding its own commentary.
Oh, now I'm getting the comment earlier from got the dog going riled up from Wing talking about the first match. Well, the dog liked it. You're talking about my dog. I thought Cassie did something.
Nope,
Sorry.
she's being a good dog.
Well, I have 3, and you can't classify any of them as good. Now I can hear it reverbing. I will see if I can get them to be quiet.
Yeah, it's okay.
Band.
They're not that loud.
Rob Van Dam, Lance Storm, again, and what they became.
It was, yeah.
Lance Storm is so underrated.
This was this was before, the Impact Players, before he was, anything. This was pretty much his debut in ECW. It wasn't his ultimate debut, but
yeah,
live it was. But this was RVD's full debut on ECW. Like full ECW TV debut.
This was before, all the Monday Night Rob and,
Mr. Monday Night.
Yeah.
He won the match, and
didn't he have like kind of a trying to remember like a mullet thing kind of going at the time?
He did, but it wasn't as serious as Lance Storm's.
Yeah, like
blonde tail.
They both look like straight out of the earlier 90s, late 80s.
If you watch a lot of the ECW shows this time, there's a lot of mullets. So,
Well, mullets were the in thing.
AA, did you have a mullet?
No,
Did you have Did you have a perm like the big '80s
Oh,
perm?
she had to have a perm.
She had to
I had a shag.
have. Nice. But yeah, RVD before his RVD defeated Lance Storm, and the most memorable thing, damn it, memorable.
Memorable.
I, thanks. Thing out of that match was the chair shot botch.
Yep. And then
I think Elmo really does not like me talking about the chair shot.
I don't know. I don't think so either. So match number 4, we had the Blue World Order, which at
Blue
this time
Meanie.
Taka Michinoku, Terry Boy, Dick Togo, along with the crew. You all know Big Stevie Cool against. So this is the time when a lot of people in America didn't get to see Japanese wrestling. So people think today it's so easy to see. If you to put a little effort in, you can see Japanese wrestling. At this time, it was very difficult.
Oh yeah, this
So
was back.
So
Go ahead.
BWO versus the Great Suzuki, Gran Hamada, and Masato Yakushi.
I'm gonna have to give you 10 stars just for enunciating those names.
At this time, so even I'll claim ignorance at this time. I didn't know who the hell probably anyone in this match was. Like, I understood what they were doing in the first couple matches, even though it was the first time I had seen ECW. But this one, these Japanese wrestlers you never seen. And they effing tore the house down. I mean, in ECW rules too, it was just, I don't know if you guys remember this match. It was insanity. Great Suzuki showed why he is one of the best of all time.
Yeah, and going into, I knew just some of the other names and the few that were in WCW. These were all new.
This was before WCW even brought them. This was before WCW's cruiserweight division really took off. So this is why this match is so important.
I didn't know, like you, I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
Really, I would see them. I think it was on the back of PWI, like where they'd list
Pretty
different
much.
federation like rankings and stuff in the back. I think one of the names looked familiar, but it wasn't like anybody I'd seen or knew of. Or
probably the most familiar name in this match is Taka Michinoku, who became popular in WWF like a year and a half after this match. So, and this was just a 6-man tag team match. This is wrestling at its purest. There was no stakes, but everything about it. One of the best things about it, it just sold me on the Japanese wrestling, and this is part of what got me to going, and trading for Japanese wrestling tapes. Back in the day of wrestling tape trading.
Good times. Good times.
I mean, between WCW and ECW, that was one of the only times you could see Japanese wrestling, unless you had a friend or some kind of connection to trade tapes. Huh. And this match was one, so that was big. AA, any thoughts on the Japanese wrestling at the time?
Well, I wasn't really big into wrestling at that time, so I can't really give an opinion, but I do like Japanese wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure if I was into it and understood it a little bit better back then, I would have really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the next match, Shane Douglas with Francine, the ECW World Television Champion, against Pitbull number 2. Do either of you remember Pitbull number 2?
No,
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you're like, remember versus care about? Like,
Well, he was an awesome wrestler, and this
yeah.
match.
I didn't mean it the way that came out.
Do you remember this match, or no?
Oh, dude, it's got the franchise in it.
Yeah.
Of course, I remember this match.
And for anyone that doesn't, think Shane Douglas means anything, between probably, I'm going to say 94 and 98, he meant everything in wrestling.
Yeah, Shane Douglas was it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They didn't just stick the moniker of the franchise on Shane Douglas.
And the ECW TV Championship wasn't, it wasn't the Intercontinental title. It wasn't the WCWS title. The ECW TV title meant so much. Like, that was there. That was, I mean, they had the world title, but that was just kind of a prop. But the ECW TV title at the time was everything.
Go back to 2000 and to compare it for those that haven't seen or have no idea who we're talking about or what the hell ECW is. Compare it to 2015 and John Cena's United States Open challenges.
That's exactly what. I couldn't even said it better myself.
Compare it to that.
Yeah,
that's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend,
and him having the TV title, and at the time, valets were a big deal. And Francine was the number one valet.
Francine was the. There were valets, and then there was Francine. Francine.
She had it all. She, had the looks. She had the fire. She had the.
She definitely had the looks.
She had the looks again.
Yeah.
At the time, a lot of it was about the looks, but no, it wasn't all about that. It was a big deal. And this match, and this is just, Shane against a tag team specialist. And they still made it a serious battle. One versus the world. That's what made ECW so good. That's what made Paul Heyman so good at the time. Because, like I said, you two didn't even, say much about Pitbull number 2 because he's a Pitbull.
Right.
But if you watch this match, it's pretty much the highlight of the show.
And they gave him time, according to what I'm looking at. I knew that they got time. I didn't know exactly.
No, yeah.
But they got a little over 20 minutes.
When you go with Shane Douglas, and Shane Douglas was no slouch.
No.
He gets a lot of flack for his WCW time, but he's the franchise for a reason. Anyway,
And to go back just a little bit, Saturn gets flack for his WWF,
Yes, I agree.
where people
You go
discount
back,
his
you go
ECW
back
and
to the
WCW days.
Eliminators. Yep.
Yeah,
There's a reason he was so. There's a reason he was part of the Radicals when he came to WWF with Dean Malenko, with Eddie Guerrero, with Chris Benoit, and you know himself. There's a reason. Anyway, Shane Douglas defeated Pitbull #2 for the World Television title. And then there was the rematch for one of the most infamous moments in ECW history.
now we're getting violent.
Yeah. When Taz was against Sabu. At the time, Taz was the ECW World Heavyweight Champion. And he gave Sabu a suplexed him, a Tazplex, I would say, right on his head. And the match was a draw. So this is a rematch. Not for a title,
Nope.
but for Sabu to get his revenge.
Yeah, this was a straight revenge match.
And this is which doesn't really exist anymore. What we call it a grudge match.
Yes.
Grudge match has a lot of meaning, but not at this time. But at this time, it meant everything. All the lead up into it was that video of Taz throwing Sabu right on his head. So, AA, do you remember Taz at this time?
Well, this was Taz wearing the towel over his head.
Yep.
Just
with Bill Alfonso with the ref.
Yeah.
Yep.
That damn whistle.
The whistle. Oh, hated it.
God dang. But the meanest shit Taz, just towel over his head coming out and just, dude, I feared Taz. Like, I'm like, oh nope. It wasn't quite like Haku levels or Ming levels of fear. But like, nope. If I'm at a bar with my girl and
nope,
you hit on
Taz
her,
can
have them. Yep. I will say thank you, sir, and offer to buy you a drink.
All right, Taz. All yours.
Taz was vicious.
Mm-hmm. And this match was no rest for the weary.
No, that's why I said
it wasn't a typical Taz match either, where it was a lot of suplexes and technical wrestling. This match was straight vicious, start to finish.
And you can see sometimes where Taz is in a little way getting out of his comfort zone, if you will.
Yeah, no, he was absolutely. I agree. Because Sabu wasn't having it. He wanted to hurt. He wanted to hurt him.
And Sabu's just a hardcore legend. Yep. I mean, they both are. Looking back, Taz, ECW Taz, and Sabu, those are two hardcore legends.
So Taz ends up with the win. And then we come to the main event, which I'll never ever forget. Because at the time, this was 1997. So, I was 10 years old. Just watching this.
I thought you said you were 12.
No, I said I was 10. It's 1997. I was born in 86.
Oh, so now we just need your mom's maiden name and social in.
But anyway, I remember Raven's promo, sitting in the bowels, just sitting, by some stairs, laying there with his world title belt, and just talking. He was, saying everything I would have said at the time. Like,
Didn't you skip a match?
No, I didn't skip a match.
How Terry became number one contender?
Well, it's still the main event, but
Yeah, it's all into one, but sorry. Go ahead. Proceed. Sorry.
I was going about, Raven's promo, which
Oh, okay. With you. I'm with you.
at the time,
What about Raven?
yeah,
What about me?
at the time, me as a kid who was all into Marilyn Manson, all into wearing black, all into, painting my nails, into making my parents pissed, coloring my hair.
You're doing this shit at 10 years old?
Yeah.
Good lord, dude. Like, there's rebellious, and then Wing just said, hold my beer. Like,
well, I was the third kid in my family, so I guess I had to build my own, thing. My brother and sister were into Tupac and all that, so anyway.
I feel so old.
Here comes Raven with his promo, and I don't know if either of you remember Raven's promo from this pay-per-view, but it was
not word for word, obviously.
it was so meaningful because I don't know, it talked to me because yes, he was whiny as he always was, but there's a reason he was whiny because you know what, he wanted attention.
Who does that sound like?
At the same time, he was fucking hardcore. So then comes the 3-way for the number one contender, Terry Funk against the Sandman against Big Stevie Cool. And at this time, Stone Cold was just becoming Stone Cold, but the Sandman was the Sandman.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'll never forget watching this pay-per-view, watching the Sandman come out with his beers and knocking the beers against his head, making himself bleed. This guy is out of control. I mean, I knew who Terry Funk was just because of my wrestling history, but I didn't know who the Sandman was.
Well, after this, you can't forget him.
No.
Speaking of crazy sons of bitches.
Hey, tell me about your love for Terry Funk. You have to have something.
Of course I have love for Terry Funk.
So tell me your Terry Funk story when you first heard about him or first saw him.
Actually, when I first saw him was when he did a short-lived TV show on Wild Side. And I loved him in that. And I said, this is back. I was just sort of dabbling, getting my toe wet in wrestling.
You mean bloody? Getting your toe bloody?
Getting my toe bloody in wrestling. No, wet, not bloody, just wet. Okay. It didn't get bloody till I started into CZW. But then and I guess there's always been a little part of me that loves gratuitous violence. And at the time, Terry Funk just embodied that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I do like Terry Funk.
Who doesn't? He's one of my favorites ever of all time. I mean, it's hard to say because I grew up watching Mick Foley come up through the ranks, but I kind of wish I had seen him as NWA champion because it would have been great. But I had him at this time, so without giving too much, well, I'm going to give it away, but he ends up winning the match and then beating Raven for the ECW World Heavyweight title in the first pay-per-view. Which was a huge deal, and I think was a great, booking decision. You you give the greatest hardcore legend of all time the world title. I'll never forget watching. I just remember every minute of watching that pay-per-view and watching Terry Funk defeat Raven. Even though I was not happy that he beat Raven, it made me remember it. So, Mox, do you remember the match itself?
Yeah, well, of course. The only, and not to be, excuse me. Dun, dun, dun. I'm listening to your guys' stories about Cherry Funk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was kind of, uh, he still wrestled way, way later. I think he still shows up every now and then.
He still does,
yeah. Even in '97, he was getting older, and he had already put his body through all kinds of hell.
Mm-hmm.
The triple threat or three-way or whatever.
That was the number one contender title. Three-way dance.
Three-way dance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, and I just assumed going in because this was when I saw it. I think I saw it. I didn't see it live. I think I saw it either through a tape exchange or a friend recorded it or something, and we watched it. But going in, like, okay, this is Sandman's winning this. I'm gonna go face Raven.
That's funny because I totally thought he was gonna win the whole thing too.
Yeah,
I watched it live, and he was the one. I was like, oh, there's no way this guy doesn't win at all.
And then when Funk won, my thought process was, okay, they gave Funk the win because they don't want the Sandman versus Raven yet. So Raven goes over, and then they'll do Sandman and Raven later. Then Funk won. Like, oh shit, cool. Like, Terry Funk's still a badass. And then, like you, because I was a huge Raven fan, like the grunge,
Mm-hmm.
and like okay, but they're not gonna really do this, are they?
Yeah.
And when he won, at the time, it and for the promotion, and it rivals Nick winning it on Raw, maybe even Daniel Bryan winning it at WrestleMania 30.
I agree with the Daniel Bryan one.
Like, it was.
It's not quite Stone Cold winning.
No, that's like.
It's not quite Sting. What should have been Sting at Starrcade, but
We did
it's
not mention that.
no, but it's as close as it gets to Daniel Bryan winning,
Yeah.
because Raven was. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Terry Funk was the ultimate face.
Yeah.
Like, you could not, no matter what you wanted to do, you couldn't root against him, even if you were the biggest Raven fan ever, but probably us.
Right. Like
Like,
you
yeah,
weren't mad. Like you sons
like
of bitches. Like you were actually
we
happy.
we dress like him, we talk like him, but you couldn't root against Terry Funk. When Terry Funk won, I jumped out of my chair and you were just happy for him.
Yeah.
So anyway, that
And this is on the network now, right?
yes, it is.
For anybody listening that wants to check it out,
Mm-hmm.
check out Wing's awesome review of watching it
Yeah.
live.
This is one of my favorite pay-per-views ever. I'll never forget watching it live, and pretty much what I've said tonight is exactly how I, felt watching it live. So,
That's pretty
Uh,
cool.
hmm
Yeah.
and I remember it almost vividly, which is,
Well, and that's you were at a impressionable time.
hmm
We all.
well, I was, yeah, and I think one of the things that most resonates today is that most meaningless match, which was the Japanese match. The great Suzuki, Gran Hamada, and Masato Hakushi defeated Taka Michinoku, Terry Boy, and Dick Togo. That that match alone got me so hooked on Japanese wrestling that's when I started, tape trading to
Yeah.
see some of that stuff. And I met some friends doing the same thing, and some friends that I still have today. So pretty crazy, but that's that.
Sweet. Thanks for the memory lane, and
Yeah.
overall, I'm not really like a grade person, but for what it was, first pay per view, ECW from start to finish, from when they formed to when they were
Mm-hmm.
bought out. Their production wasn't always like what you see today, nowhere close
No,
to it.
not
Like,
even. Yeah.
like it's literally like I could have taken
Uh-huh.
a camcorder out there and done the same, because that's what they did. The and at least an A. Uh, Not really an A plus.
No, and that's
Maybe
fine. It. So I
B plus
make
and
it.
A.
The way I've
It was
described
good.
it makes it seem like I think it's, the best thing ever, but it's not. You
No,
know, if
it had some.
if I were to look at it as a wrestling, as a wrestling fan again, it's probably a B.
Yeah, I was B to A,
Mm-hmm.
because when it was not bad per se, but
Mm-hmm.
just like the chair, the not chair shot. Like that.
And I urge again. I mean, Lance Storm is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But if you haven't seen this chair shot, you have to see it. You have to look it up. You have
Can
to
you
find
be
it.
serious for a minute?
I can be serious for a minute. You have to look it up. You have to find it. Because it's the worst chair shot you'll ever see in your life.
And if you don't get the be serious joke with Lance Storm, then
Mm-hmm.
just Google Lance Storm. I was already watching like their weekly thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I could have, but at the time couldn't do pay-per-views. And then this one, okay, I'm going to make it a point now to
Yeah,
check this out.
I was lucky at the time. I had the black box, which was so
Oh,
legal.
you son of a bitch.
So one channel up was Playboy. One
Oh,
another channel up was Spice, but
oh wow.
the Spice channel.
I actually remember the Spice Channel.
Oh wow. I didn't want to
I
say
knew
it, but
I knew
I
you
do too.
would.
Yeah. The Spice Channel was so much better than Playboy. Just
I
saying.
heard. I know. Well, I did see. I mean, I had a 4 hour period of when I could be in my mom's room to watch watch the pay per view. So
Oh damn.
that gave me the extra hour to watch the Spice Channel. Although, if she had seen ECW at the time, it probably would have been the same to see Francine
Yeah. Like
or Beulah.
she probably would have. Will you turn it on the Spice Channel or something? Come on.
Yeah. Well, and then 6 months later, it was WWF doing worse. So with the cat.
Wow. Meow.
Anyway, that's my
Was that AA that did the little meow?
yes. Well, I'm glad you guys had me on to review one of my favorite pay-per-views ever. So,
What's going on in the world of Rocky Mountain Pro?
The world of Rocky Mountain Pro, which if you want to see some good independent wrestling, you can catch them on Twitch or on YouTube. Just look up Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. They're going to be doing another charge taping event on the 21st of this month, which I will be attending.
Whoop, whoop.
And I've already met a couple of the wrestlers, and they're real nice and
are they in
really
Colorado
great people.
or?
They're in Colorado,
Okay, so
out of Golden.
okay, nice.
And they're trying to get venues and stuff so they can put on a show or two in Wyoming.
Okay.
And they got a couple great storylines going on. Poor Curtis Cole is trying to get his title back, which got stolen from him.
Jerks.
Yes.
Hey, at least their title shows up.
I know, right?
And by the way, I'm sorry I kind of rudely transitioned. Thank you for sharing your experience with us, Wayne, about watching it live and what it meant to you and
Well,
how you still think of it. Thank you for that. That
and
was very fun.
I just want to say I did this show completely without rewatching it. I haven't watched it probably in a year, but it means a lot for me to have, replenished my viewing of it because I've watched it probably 100 times. So
I'll probably go if it's on the network when we get.
It means a lot. It means a lot to me. The show means a lot, and I remember I'll never forget watching it live because of the the preview channel showing me ECW, and that's what got me on ECW. So
thank you for sharing that experience. And when we get done with the podcast, I will probably go find it on the network and watch it. Just
you have to, yep.
Yeah.
Just to see the chair shot that wasn't.
Everyone has to do that at least.
Yes. Like, that should be mandatory because that was such a.
And you have to see, if you have never seen the Eliminators, you have to see Total Elimination.
So, are they RMP, Rocky Mountain Pro? They're trying to get into Wyoming territory.
Yeah, what there is they're having a hard time finding a venue that will help, that will promote them.
Okay.
And so I'm doing some checking around and whatever, and see if I can pick up some leads since I am in Cheyenne and I do have contacts up here.
Surely there would be a place in Cheyenne that would.
I'm thinking of a couple of places that would be perfect, and I'm going to do the introductions and see if they will do it, because I would love to have them come up to Cheyenne. Just so I don't mind traveling an hour and a half to 3 hours to see a show, but it would be nice if it was local.
True. Plus, the benefit of like helping them, grow.
You have a local venue that can host.
I know of a couple that I'm going to contact and see if they'll do it, because
I think that means a lot. I think is they have to have somewhere that can host them, and that's cheap.
Yeah, and Cheyenne does have a lot of wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
I run across them all every day.
There's also beaches of Cheyenne. Sorry, bad Garth Brooks joke. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'll let it go this time.
Uh-oh.
Next time I'll make sure
dear.
Shadow takes your chair for a week.
We're reliving ECW all over again.
No, we're going to go CZW.
Oh.
Uh-oh. That's really hardcore.
Hide the light sticks, hide the barbed wire. Just everybody please hide everything, like anything that can and will be used as a weapon. Just put it up for the next week, please. I'll grovel and won't get my ass kicked. I'm gonna pull a Heath Slater. I got kids.
You got kid. You got a kid.
Well,
he still needs a double wide, so it's okay.
Damn. I need my above ground pool.
You guys have me on the show, so you have to deal with
the craziness.
Especially when I'm the only sober one.
I'm sober. What?
A bullshit.
I'm sober.
Wayne, come on. I mean, there's sober and then there's more sober than I usually am.
I didn't know there was different grades of sober.
Me either.
Yeah, well, I'm more sober than I usually am, so. I guess, did you have anything else to add about Rocky Mountain Pro?
No, that's pretty much it. But please check them out on Twitch and on YouTube.
I feel like why do I have to be the WWE guy?
Well, I would just say if anyone has a chance, check out the G1 special from the Cow Palace. From
Wing was there.
I was there. It was awesome.
I'll be talking about that tomorrow on Whacked Out Wrestling. You're not right, and you're definitely not sober.
I am sober. What are you talking about?
Dude, I heard the ice in your drink earlier.
The soberest.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a word or not, but
it is now.
I think I'll rewatch a Tournament of Death from CZW.
But well, I hope you will watch. Barely Legal, 1997.
Make sure if you Google
For real
it,
though, that is one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time, and it changed me as a wrestling fan. So it really does mean a lot to me.
very, very cool for you to share that with us.
I'm glad you guys let me go through each match, and I hope you guys get to watch again and kind of feel something that I felt through it. So
Coming in the air tonight.
Oh yeah, I know how it feels when you see something and you see it live, and then you have to
Yeah.
keep going back and watching it to relive it.
And I'm hoping everyone just gets to see the chair shot again, because
No, God.
it's that bad.
I have to watch it just for the chair shot.
It really is that bad.
The violent
But-
person in me has got to see that.
Yeah. But if everyone at least can see, the Japanese match, it's worth it. Because that match alone got me into all of wrestling instead of just WWE. At the time, it was 97. It was WCW or WWE. And at that time, it was, NWO had taken over, which I was all into. And then I saw that match.
It expanded your horizons.
This Japanese match for this had no stakes. It was just a 6-man tag match for no reason. But I was like, who the hell is this Great Suzuki guy? And I went from there. So anyway.
Yeah, and the American wrestling at the time was basically WCW and WWF.
Yeah.
And it expanded. Like, ooh, who's that? What are they doing? I need to see more of that.
The Montreal Screwjob. So a lot of it wasn't wrestling. It was a lot of, storyline driven.
Yeah.
Which is fine, which is good. But I had never seen at that time the kind of wrestling that was out there. So
they're crazy, Michael.
Those Japanese, Maggle.
Oh God, could you imagine Michael Cole calling a New Japan 6-man tag? Or a show, period. Like,
he might actually do good. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, he gets a bad rap, but
yeah, if he was on his own, like he would be able. But if it's the typical fed in the ear script, like how many times would he repeat? I don't want to think about this anymore. So, you did ECW, AA did RMP, Raw kind of sucks. It not kind of sucks.
Hey, thanks for your opinion. All right.
Well, that's. And I took notes for this because why? There was a couple of bright spots. I need a Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins feud. And I wrote in my notes that before they made the match official for later in the night, like I need Seth versus Drew McIntyre yesterday, and for instance, I put an actual feud. Oh, they'd be so good. I love both of them. I love Seth and Drew McIntyre. He's really, from the first time he was the chosen one years ago until he left, became Drew Galloway and came back. Dude has improved so much, and he is so handcuffed to Dolph at the moment. Get away from Dolph, please. And nobody says a word about.
Yes, Drew's definitely got to get away.
Didn't watch SmackDown. Oh, and not only did I not watch SmackDown, but when I said I was contemplating watching SmackDown,
You weren't even contemplating it. Okay.
I was explicitly told, please do not watch SmackDown. So apparently that was pretty bad. Extreme Rules coming up with like there's speaking of ECW, like there's no like just call it Rules. Like the Rules pay-per-view is coming up.
I can't stand it. I can't stand any of the, gimmick pay-per-views. Just bullshit.
There's just no. There's
a
stipulations.
Judy Bagwell in a or in a shark cage. Oh wait, no, I'm just kidding. It's a not Judy. It's who? Who's in a shark cage?
Who?
Oh Lord.
Who?
James Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth.
I know. May as well be Judy Bagwell.
Yeah. I mean, just put a forklift with Judy Bagwell in the middle of the ring instead of on the outside, and just maybe somebody will run into the forklift. Like,
Lord have mercy.
I guess it's a way to keep the title on Mello, because you know it. Something shenanigans going to happen, and somebody brought up a point of Jericho's about twice the size of James Ellsworth, and Jericho just put like a little oil on himself and was able to get through the bars. Like James Ellsworth should just be able to walk through the bars and jump down.
Well, there was what's his name, Enzo Amore put freaking lube all over himself to get through.
Oh, it was Enzo. It was Enzo, not Jericho. And see, that's another thing. All these shark cage matches. Jericho's done it. Enzo did it.
Bullshit. Yep.
Yeah. What's extreme about a shark cage match? What's extreme about a 30-minute Iron Man match?
There is nothing.
There's
unless the shark cage drops on.
Right. Oh my God!
Just crushed them into oblivion. That'd be that's celebrity deathmatch action. That happened.
I remember those. I remember the celebrity death matches.
Oh, that was the best because Marilyn Manson was the super champion.
Yeah. Now you were saying if you put Braun where?
Put Braun in a match where there's a shark cage. It'll be used.
He just tear it down and throw the person and the shark cage.
See, that would be interesting if he would, because he could tear it down and, pull it down.
Oh, screw that. We need a porta potty match. Same as the shark cage, but with a porta potty.
All right, we went from my amazing ECW pay-per-view to this.
That's how bad.
Being taken.
And what gets me on the WWE thing is just 2 weeks ago on both shows knocked it out of the park.
I know. What the hell?
A+, and in 2 weeks time. What the
bullshit?
Yeah, how? Oh, they're okay. I'm digging this. I like this. Like, well, takes this much data to watch this. Nope. I'm out. It's just, oh, it's so frustrating. Every time they get my hopes a little up of, but rumor has it that Paul was backstage and wrote or produced some of the segments on
Yeah,
Raw
but
and SmackDown.
who knows?
I'm just,
That may not mean anything. I mean,
dude, I'm trying to keep a glimmer of hope. And then the Nia versus Alexa stuff, that it's all about Ronda. Like that's all. That's oh, and this is the one that they are calling an Extreme Rules match. Like you picked the worst fucking match to make an Extreme Rules. Like of all the matches, you picked Nia versus Alexa to be the Extreme Rules match.
They should all be Extreme Rule matches.
Well, we know why they chose it for this one. That's so Ronda can interfere.
They just shouldn't have the Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went through the greatest Extreme Rules pay-per-view they ever had. So, well, actually, maybe the best was the first One Night Stand. But that's for another Violent Wrestling podcast, I hope.
I don't really plan on talking about my first one night stand. Oh, you meant the pay-per-view.
Well, I don't think any of us want to hear either. Well, if you had to sneak out through a window, who knows?
Well, damn.
Rough. The dog knows. Dog said.
I'll watch Extreme Rules just because it's what I do, and more still more in Extreme Rules. Like, dude, like, let me take you back some years, and I'll watch it. I'll probably review it. There's just, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of WWE at the moment. They're in such a creative lull. I mean, every once in a while you get a nugget of, oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
I don't know. I'm not gonna be one of those that, I'm done and I'm canceling my subscription, and you guys like,
No, I'm not done either. So
yeah. Well, apparently this week you were.
who? About me?
You. Yeah, you said you didn't watch Raw or SmackDown.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't, but don't mean nothing.
I'm only one viewer. Anybody? Well, what are your thoughts at the current time of WWE specifically? AA.
It'd be a lot better once Dean Ambrose comes back.
Well, I sort of say excluding.
I agree.
Yeah, that's going to be, and I've said this on, I think, 3 of our podcasts now. Don't do it wrong, and I fear they're going to do it wrong.
Hey, it's WWE.
Of course. Did you see how they brought Seth Rollins back?
Well, that's different. He got hurt as a heel,
Yeah, but
and yeah, he
yeah, but
yeah, but yeah, but
yeah, but
yeah, but
yeah, but
I mean, they could have, without blinking, brought him back as a face,
mm-hmm.
but they were trying.
No, they
Tried.
didn't. At first, they didn't.
I said they could have tried
Yeah.
because you know when his music hit, he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna
It
get a huge
went
ass pop.
crazy. Yeah. Well, no, they knew it when at the Slammies in December when he came
Yeah,
out, he had a huge pop. That meant everyone knew he was gonna be a face when he came back. But anyway,
uh, that I could at least justify a little bit because he stayed aligned to left of the hill, got hurt left of the hill, came back, big pop, and kind of for a few minutes relished in that, and then said, "Nope, screw you guys, I'm still a hill." Shit all over the crowd. I I just know they're gonna mess up a Dean return.
But it all depends how they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, and Hill Dean, I've wanted like just Hill or Tweener Dean.
They
You
need the Dean that was when the Shield first came out. They need
yeah
that heel Dean, not the
yeah
goofy Dean,
mm-hmm.
the sadistic
Lunatic
Dean.
Michael. Yeah,
That's
Lunatic Michael.
everything about the sadistic Dean is what everyone wants.
It's gonna. There's a fine line of coming back just as the face he was, turning him Hill into that sweet spot of not the same Dean, if that makes sense. He's no longer. He should come back as a tweener. Get the
And,
pop.
and then turn heel.
Not really turn Hill. Get the initial pop for a week or two, and then kind of go solo. And I have no friends, kind of thing. I'm I'm on my own. I've missed so much time. I don't know exactly how to write it. I just know they're not going to write it to suit Dean. It's either going to be come back straight baby face or straight turn. And I'd like for him to be the true definition of the tweener. I'll just want to fight. I don't care if you're Roman, Seth, KO, whoever.
Well, the problem is they took Samoa Joe and put him on SmackDown. They need to get him
Yeah,
back to Raw because that would be a good feud for Ambrose. Because the storyline is that Joe's the one who
Oh
put him
my
on the
God,
shelf.
Joe and Ambrose would be off the hook.
the promo that Joe cut talking to Renee
See,
is
they should have
golden.
Joe have the Universal title. Oh, but they can't.
When Dean was cutting that promo, or Dean, damn it, I miss Dean too apparently. When um, Joe was cutting the promo, Dean's at home, hurt, living off of his wife's paycheck, talking to Renee. Dude, that's gold. Like that's breaking kayfabe unless like you're like us and you follow like that, you know that they're married. He just told his wife that Dean is living off of his wife's paycheck.
So, but yeah, I mean that right there is a built-in feud right there for Dean when he comes back.
Yeah,
This
let
was
him
with
do
Samoa
that for a
Joe.
while. Let him do that for a while. But then I want to see more edgy Dean and not more or edgier Dean and not
Not
lunatic
Goofy Dean.
Michael. Yeah, I'm a lunatic Michael uh, because we know he can do it. We've seen him be that kind of Dean.
Heck, he was a vicious Dean when the Shield first came out.
He just wants to fight. Let him fight. Yeah. Even when we try bringing up WWE and predictions of Extreme Rules, like it's kind of so bad. Like, let's just talk about Dean for a little bit. I'm hoping that this is like a hump, shut up win. Like a get through Extreme Rules and then lead
Son
up
of
to
a bitch.
SummerSlam, and it gets better because it's been, except for a couple weeks ago when they got everything was flowing and all cylinders. Oh, and anywho, that's if you haven't seen a New Japan G1 special from San Francisco, highly recommend it. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely. Go see it. It was great as a American seeing Japanese wrestling.
And this time you
It,
were like not watching live, you were
yeah. No, I was there.
live. You saw it live.
There was something different about seeing Japanese wrestling when you're in person. It is hardcore. It is. I mean, they hurt each other. I
Speaking
mean,
of,
it's
I
it's
hope
it's it's like I'm saying it like it's funny, but it's not funny. They absolutely blast each other. So
speaking of
there's something about Japanese wrestling that is different, and I hope everyone can take out check out the G1 special that happened. It's worth it.
speaking of Takahashi, I hope it's
Yep,
not as
I
severe
agree.
or
Yeah.
like I hope he.
Same with Jim Ross. Jim Ross got
Yeah,
hurt.
Jim Ross took a
He
bump too and might have broken ribs.
mhm.
Takahashi um,
And that confirms what
may
I'm
have been,
saying. Like the Japanese wrestling, it's not people. This is what I want to say. When people say it's fake, no, nothing fake
yeah,
about it. This is hard. These guys are doing.
and
It's
that
hard
goes
shit.
beyond.
Yeah.
It goes beyond New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a difference between fake and scripted.
Yep.
What they're doing out in the ring,
Oh yeah.
it might be scripted. It's not
Exactly.
fake.
Well, the winner might be determined, but what is scripted inside is not scripted.
Right. Like there, shit can happen. Uh, 90 something, way up in the 99, 98. Everybody comes out fine and people sell. But you do get these occasional, like they're really doing that stuff. It's not fake where you're watching a video game and some player is flipping off of a top rope and onto another character in the game. Like it's they're really doing that stuff, and there's danger that comes with it. I cannot stand the fake. Like, oh, wrestling's so fake. It's predetermined. It's scripted. Like both or whoever's in that match knows spots and the outcome and who's going to be the winner. Granted, I'll give you that. It's predetermined. It's scripted. But they actually have to go out there and put their bodies through that to get to that goal. And just, hold up a sign like, hey, I'm going to flip off the top rope now. Hey, I'm going to do a suicide dive now. Like, it's not a cartoon.
Yep. Okie doke.
So I guess this is going to wrap it up for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Screw
Everyone,
you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. What?
You're going to make me do it.
Pre Mega Man. No.
I don't even know
Ants
if
in
I
the
could.
pants. Ants in the pants. Oh, no.
I do a great Cartman. I don't know if I could at the moment.
Well, I'll give you a moment so I can say if everyone has an opportunity to, watch the pay-per-view I talked about, 1997, Barely Legal. It is, for violent wrestling, one of the best ever. It started the revolution, I would say. I mean, you could talk about what really started the ECW revolution, about, Shane Douglas throwing the title down, all that. But if we're talking about violent wrestling, for me, what started here on the West Coast, especially, was this pay-per-view, because there was nothing else that I had seen before it. So you have to check it out on the WWE Network. It's Barely Legal, ECW. And then I'll throw it back to my host.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on at such short notice. It was
I appreciate
wonderful.
it. Yeah. Well, I told you if you wanted to talk about the pay-per-view, I would do it. So
And give a shout out that if you want to catch a glimpse of Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, look it up on Twitch or YouTube.
Yep. And I encourage everyone to do as such.
We need more people.
Yeah. Agreed.
Going outside their box. That's how you found ECW. And damn, I'm a genius. That correlates the whole podcast of you went outside of something you had no clue about, and now look, 20.
I just happened to see something that made me be like, oh, this might be cool, and then
don't give up on wrestling.
It was really cool. Nobody give up on wrestling.
Yeah, just
go check out Rocky Mountain. If you're on the West Coast, check out All Pro Wrestling. That's where I'm from. It's it's a cool wrestling promo, but
if you're getting whatever promotions you like and you're getting frustrated with it, or don't give up on it. Fine. If you really like wrestling, there's a promotion out there. I promise you. There's different avenues out there. Take those out.
Thank you much. See you.
Take care.
Bye.
And we'll give a shout out to our other friends out there like Shooting the Breeze, Connoisseurs of Wrestling, Ruthless Aggression Era, Roundhouse Wrestling, Fizzy's Wacky World, Two Guys, One Sport. Did I miss anyone?
There's
I'm
Like-
one guy, one sport over here. No, I'm just
oh wow.
One Guy, One Sport.
I'm not sure that's a wrestling podcast.
No, it's not.
No, I'm not even gonna try. I thought I'd clear my throat enough, but I'm not gonna. And myself and SK are baby stepping our way to Whack That Wrestling on YouTube.
Yeah, check it out. It's good.
Oh, yes, and then my AA's Ramblings, where I just sit there and talk about who knows what.
If you haven't checked that out, you absolutely have to, because
It's crazy, Michael.
it's rambling amazingness.
It's true rambling.
Because if you haven't heard anyone ramble, she's the best rambler you've ever heard.
Why, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's pretty out of control.
Yeah, it's like being on a public transport and the person sitting next to
Yeah.
you
She's just going crazy.
Yeah. not talking to
I need to
anybody or
do it
anything.
drunk one night.
I don't know. I wish I would have watched it, with that picture you have of Dean Ambrose on your thing. It would have made it much better.
I may switch that image out, but at the time that was
Don't you dare.
what?
It's a great picture.
Uh-oh.
And Mox is like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Oh. All right. Thanks again for having me on.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
I appreciate it.
EC Dub. EC Dub.
EC Dub. EC Dub. EC Dub.
Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam.
RVD. RVD.
Worst shot ever. Worst chair shot ever.
Damn it, Wayne.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Peace.